What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the La Liga career mode. It's episode number 8, today returning with a brand new season as our second year with Almeria gets underway, and starting today's episode off with a look at the budget for season 2. It is quite small in Monday football terms. 34 mil is all we've got to work with, but it adds to the challenge, and therefore I'm pretty pleased to see it. Yep, not a great deal of money to work with, and obviously, as we know, we've lost both of our goalkeepers. Marino, who was our backup, but didn't play at all last season, was released on a free as a veteran and not that much ability, and Luis Maximiano has gone back to Lazio, so right now we don't have a goalkeeper in the squad, so yeah, a few of our players came out from loan, such as Pugmal, Kaiki as well, but for the most part, this is still a small squad. There's still very little quality to it as well. We're going to see one player leave on a free in Antonio Jesus. Al-Harbi and Ahmed are about to go out on loan as well. So yeah, this is going to be another challenging summer window, I feel. Oh, not to mention Toumé about to join Everton as well. So what we'll quickly do is just advance one day in the calendar. I never know why they don't go through on the first day. It's really strange. It's always like, when the summer window opens. Well, why isn't the summer window open on the first? Shouldn't that be when they go? But yeah, that means that Toumé is gone as well. So our squad now looks like this. Even Finner, as one of our young loanees returning, does show great potential. That's a nice bonus there. But yeah, Toumé's now gone as well. Those two youngsters going out on loan. Kaiki, that's the young centre-half we talked about last season. He does show great potential as well. 73 rated. The problem is we've got 3 options ahead of him right now in the team. So might once again loan out the young Brazilian, to be fair. But yeah, the team for the new season, it has got a little bit better since we began to save. Obviously, we talked about this in the season finale in the last episode. That's mainly because it's a young team. It's the one thing that this Almeria side has going for it. It's young. You know, it's really, really young. But there's still not a lot of quality. So if we want to make the next step up for this season, which to me is going to be top 10, bordering on a conference/Europa League place, we need to add some quality to it. With 4 players having their deals that come at the end of the year, I might extend the contract of Marcos Pena just for the squad, but I think Apia and Marciano can probably go. But the number 1 target who's definitely staying is Lagi Ramazani. Last season grew a few ratings, got a few goals, scored the goal this season as well. Not sure about Pena or the other 2 as well, but this guy is definitely staying, man. He's going nowhere. And also, as we were stung twice last season with Suarez and Pubil leaving on release clauses, I've just removed 3 for Alex Centelles and Pozo, our 2 fullbacks, and also Edgar as well. Our back line last season was sublime, so these 3 key pieces of the back 4, all 3 of them getting new extensions, and most crucially, getting rid of the release clauses. So yeah, glad to know those guys are staying. I don't know what I'll do with Robertone, if I'm being honest, man. Like, I feel as though he's just too good for our team. Like, I really do believe that, and I get it. Like, 81 overall isn't like, you know, a superstar status, but he feels like that to us. And again, he's still got 4 years left on his deal. So in order to extend it, it just feels like it wouldn't be right, I guess. I don't really know. So I'm gonna leave that release clause where it is. And if a big bid does come in from, again, someone in the Champions League, I think I'll let the captain go. As much as we love him, I don't think it'll be fair to stand in his way. So first order of business, as always, check the free agents pool, look some bargains. And obviously, one thing's for sure, we do need a new goalkeeper for this season, with not a single keeper registered now. Obviously, several names on the shortlist, and I wouldn't be against bringing Maximiano back, but I don't know, man, because I use my Granada career mode. I've had a few players from that save in this one as well. I kind of want to try different options, and I think one player that would fit us perfectly, to be fair, is this guy right here, Julian Aguirrezabala at Bilbao. And the reason why is very simple. Right now, for Bilbao, he's second choice to Unai Simon, who's 9 ratings higher, and clearly they're undisputed number 1. And Julian is also out of contract coming the end of the season as well. So if he wants to start playing first team football, now approaching his mid-20s, he needs to leave. Can get him under valuation, out of contract coming the end of the season. This, to me, makes perfect sense. I think after a bit of back and forth, we should get him for 9.75 mil, and there we go. This is a really good deal. Never had this guy before, but again, if he wants to start playing first team football, needs to leave Bilbao, and he'll certainly get it here at Almeria. A 5-year deal on 15 grand a week, and Julian is in as our new number 1 to replace Luis Maximiano. Annoyingly, I didn't get like one of those cool arrival medical and shirt presentation animations, but even so, yeah, really like his stats, very well balanced, 76 all across the board apart from reflexes, 74, so nice and even there. And again, 6'2", left-footed keeper, he's pretty solid with his feet as well. I'm going to keep him on balanced, and he'll be in as our new undisputed number one. I like that sign, a really good budget buy. And interestingly enough, I didn't have Vasic on the loan list, but I'll be more than happy to let him go out on loan this season. He showed some promise last year, scoring 4 goals in limited game time, but here, going to struggle to get the game time with so many options ahead of him. Don't see him starting at Sevilla though, but I will actually add him to the loan. There's a few players here that have got some solid potential, but they need to play in order for that to be realised. Vasic is one of those guys. I know that Arribas has gone out on loan to Girona. Pugmali's just come back. I might add him to the loan list as well. I do need to make sure we've got enough depth in this team. And Gui Guedes was out on loan in Portugal last season as well. So yeah, quite a few players I'm happy to loan out this year. And I think I probably will loan out Kaiki as well, who desperately needs first-team football before he can compete for a first slot in the CB role. So, yeah, we'll see what happens there. Again, with a budget now on the back of that sign, 25 mil, it's not a lot to work with, but it adds to the challenge. Zabit comes in for Sola, just come out from loan. We're going to turn this one down. And Herenveen want to take Apia, the young winger who was out on loan last season. Totally fine with that, as he's on the transfer list and out of contract come the end of the season, so any amount of money we will take. And Forest want to take Kaiki on a 2-year loan. Millwall want to take Apia back to England. But would he start there at Forest? I'm not sure about that. Forest still got Felipe and Niakate, and they still Premier League as well. Oh yeah, they are not in Forest. Yeah, he's Willy Bolly's still there. He's not going to start there. This is one of the things that McKenna's come out from his loan spell in Copenhagen. So this is one of the things that kind of frustrates me about career mode. It's like oftentimes you'll get loan offers for your players, and it's like, well, he's clearly not going to be first choice there. And the whole point of loaning him out is that I want him to get game time. Okay, now granted, I understand that it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things because the game doesn't really take game time into consideration. They just need to be out on loan somewhere for them to develop. But for the realism, we do like a bit of realism, just giving him a new contract, that's a no. It's kind of frustrating where it's like you're trying to loan one of your players out and like a top 4 team will put a bid in. It's like, why? You're not going to play him. You might as well just stay here. Yeah, Real Betis now putting in a bid. Be behind Mark Bartra, Lewis Dunk, who they signed as well, of course. So I don't see him starting there either. Preferably 72. Is he 72 or 73 overall? I'd rather get him to the Segunda division where I know he'd be first name on the team sheet there. But we shall persist, and eventually I'm sure the right sort of offer will come in. Now there we go. I don't mind that at all. Girona, who only just survived last year, want to take Vast on a 1-year loan deal. They've got a Rebaz off us though, so I'd rather get him elsewhere, to be honest. So there we go. Pia goes to Herenveen and decides not to go to the Den based on our state right now. I don't blame him. And Mendes is wanted by Royal Antwerp of Belgium. I'm alright with that deal, to be fair, considering the fact that he was recalled from loan last season just as a backup, and I do plan on getting a new fullback in anyway, so that's alright with me. So again, we can't really raise much money for our players other than the big boy Lucas Robertone. There's no one we could really sell. Is Rico still available on a free? Oh yes, I'm picking this guy up as a backup, man. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. But hold on, let me do this first. Absolutely love this signing right here. When I've got a young goalkeeper, I always like a senior as a mentor in the squad as well. Whether he starts or is a backup, either is fine with me. I just like a more experienced goalkeeper to teach the youngster the ropes. And Sergio Rico won a few things with PSG as a backup to Keylor Navas. I think he's got a cap for Spain as well. And a seasoned pro coming in at 30 on a free transfer. 2-year contract, 12 grand a week. This is a really good deal. Welcome to the Powell Stadium, Sergio Rico. So we've sorted out the problem with no goalkeepers now. 2 pretty decent ones here. And whilst I don't know whether we'll see out the whole contract, it's one of those situations where he wants to be an important first-team player. You can't ever change a squad role, unfortunately. You can't ever convince him to come down. But he's a solid enough backup for Julian as well. So I like that signing there. So bids coming in, turning them all down for now though, as we're waiting for the, there we go, Mendes deal to go, and he is off to Royal Antwerp for £2 million. So now down to just one right back. I did say I wanted to sign a new right back for this season as well. Obviously we sold Mark Bill last season. Pozo's come in, but he was really only a short-term right back for us. I wanted like a new starting right back, and we've got enough money to bring someone in. Question is, who's it going to be? Oh, and I've got to show you this real quick as well. The European Championships have just been wrapped up. So I'll show you the full groups here. And obviously the knockout stages all the way to the final as well. We're in the quarters. We saw 2 penalty shootout victories as Belgium and the Czech Republic both went through. And then look at that. Belgium doing it on spot kicks again, 10-9. And then they beat Spain 3-1 in the final to win the European Championships. Finally, Belgium managed to do it. Gerard Deulofeu was part of the Spain squad as well in the European Championships there. His form for Almeria got him a call up. He led them to the final, sadly. He might have scored the first goal, but Belgium ended up winning out 3-1 victors. So yeah, we've got the money now to bring in a new right back here. But the one I really want isn't available, which is so frustrating. That's always what I say. That's often the case, isn't it? Pablo Maff. Oh, he is available now. Ah, finally. As we see a loan bid come in for Kaiki, which to be fair, I don't mind this one, Benfica. I know you're probably thinking, hang on a second, Doxy boy, you wouldn't let go to Betis or not in the Forest, but you will Benfica. And actually, I don't mind this at all because Benfica got a rich history of developing young players. And with him being Brazilian, it means he speaks Portuguese as well. So on a 1-year loan deal, I actually quite like that move, to be fair. Again, a Portuguese-speaking player going to Lisbon, who notoriously have a reputation for developing young talents. I quite like that one, to be fair. But yeah, for the right back, I really want Pablo Maffia. You know, he's Argentine listed in the game, but as we know, he was born in Spain. He's just dual nationality. He can represent both. And he's got some amazing stats. Absolutely sublime going forward, but also great defensive stats. And that's really important because last year our back line was one of the reasons why we survived quite comfortably in the end. To me, he would be the perfect fit. We'd have to smash the club record transfer fee to bring him in, but he's my number one target. We can't get Alan Martinez. He's gone to Manchester City. He's been given a number 2 jersey there by Pep. We're not going to get him, but a former Man City right back in Pablo Maffia, who may never hit the heights he always could, would be an amazing pickup for us. And again, I don't think I've ever used the guy before either. So for 20.25 mil plus a 10% sell-on clause, which is kind of redundant because I don't see us ever selling this guy. Coming in as our new starting right back for Pozo, this is a great deal. He wanted to take a pay cut, but of course not really realistic. With Mallorca finishing only just above the bottom 3 last season and us surviving comfortably, we're a team on the up, looking to add in some star quality and for a club record transfer fee on a 5-year, 26 grand a week deal. I'm buzzing with this signing here. Welcome to the Powerhouse Stadium, Pablo Maffia. And once again, I don't think that he'll ever hit the heights he possibly could have done. He showed so much promise as a really young player, but he's still carved out a pretty solid career for himself in top level football. And again, I love these stats here, I really do, because again, to me, the back line last year was so important to our success. So we want a player not only can offer something going forward, but again, is defensively really solid. And Pablo Maffia has always been pretty solid defensively. So we'll get the defensive work rate up from medium to high, work on the reasonably low strength, and get the stamina up too. And once we do that, I don't see a weak spot to this guy, man. He looks absolutely perfect for our system. And as we see, Salzburg put a bid in for Centelles, who just signed a new contract. And again, this is why it was so crucial. We did give him a new deal. If we didn't do this, Salzburg could have just had him right now for less than that as well, because the release clause I think was only 9.2 mil. So that's why it's so important to look down your list of players when you inherit a new side and see if there are any release clauses on those players close to market valuation. If they are, then you want to make sure you remove them as soon as possible if you have plans to start them or start them in the future. So yeah, Kaiki's going to go out on loads of Benfica. Again, I quite like that move there, being a Portuguese-speaking player, going to Lisbon. And again, the problem we got is the lack of depth and not much money as well. As, Fleck and Madrid want to bring in Dion Lopi. But I love this guy, man. He was so solid for me last year. So I'm going to say to Diego Simeone, I know it'll be a step up for him, but unless you give me a lot more than 14.2 mil. He's going nowhere. He's solid, mate. So there we go. Kayiki off to Lisbon for a year. So we'll keep an eye on him there at the Estadio de Luz. Once again, though, it does beg the question, how are we going to cope with this incredibly small squad? The answer is I don't know. I think I need to do some more free agent searching, man, because we need to fill out the resis. We do have a bid for what will now be our backup right back, Alex Pozo, but once again, just like with Centelles, removed that release clause, so that means we can keep him and don't need to cash in either. So as the first month is here, we've got another youth squad update here. Said is now 16. You know, I'm very tempted to give him a pro deal and just loan him out straight away. He and Bryce Gomez seem the best players. I think Gomez is 18. Yeah, now Gomez is 18. He'll need a pro deal because in order for him to not get asking for one come the end of the season, to not force us to give him one come the end of the season, we should do it as early as possible. And I think I'm going to do the same with Said as well. So good they named him twice, the Algerian wonder kid. I'm going to give him a pro deal. We'll check the potential of both now, but they're both going on the loan list and they're both getting loaned out. He should, yeah, potential to be special. No surprises there. This guy needs the game time, though. So we're going to add him straight to the loan list. And I'll do the same with... Where is he? There is Bryce Gomez. He's an exciting prospect as well. So they'll both get loaned out in the first season. And I think I'm just going to bring this lad in for the squad. Samuel Bamba, young talent released by Dortmund. We know that Dortmund are all about developing good young players. This one slipped through the cracks though. 67 overall, 20 years old, rapid, and a good squad player. Let's bring him in. Yep, next man in, fourth signing of the window, 5-year deal on 4.7 grand a week. I don't think I played that much in the first season, but just here to fit out the squad really and give us some depth. Welcome to the Powerhouse Stadium. Samuel Bamba, young German youth prospect, and again, as a raw talent, he's got pace, he's got agility, he's got good balance and great dribbling as well. Someone to keep our eyes on for the future. Long way to go, of course, but looks pretty handy as a squad player. So a loan off of Solar, who's just come back. Obviously going to turn this one down as our backup Centelles, but AZ Alkmaar want to take Said. I don't mind that at all, to be fair, going to the Eredivisie. I'd love for him to get thrown into the deep end as well on a 2-year loan deal, and hopefully he would, even at 64 overall. I guess we'll wait and see. But I want to make sure, yeah, there we go, get a bid for Go, and I like that too as well. Well, to be fair, after just 2 days, AZ want to take this guy, so they're clearly quite keen on him. I like that as well. A Segunda Division side wanting to take Bryce Gomez. That's what we want, man. We want those loans from second tier sides. To me, I really wish you could have feeder clubs though. That is one thing. I get asked all the time, Doxy, what would you want in Cremo more than anything else? I wouldn't say feeder clubs would be number one on my list, but it would definitely be high up there. To loan players to a feeder club like you can in FM, that would be brilliant. And another second division side want to take one of our younger players, Vallecano, who were just relegated last season, want to take Gui Guedes, so I'm alright with that. He was out on loan at Porto last season, but not good enough for our first team yet. Obviously, still mindful of the fact that we do need to make sure we've got enough depth here. As a big comes in for our Mexican centre-half, Cesar Montes. He was really good for us last season, but we are thinking about Kaiki and Muhaid as well. I wouldn't be against letting him go, you know. If I can get close to 30 mil for the Mexican international, I would take that. I would definitely take that because it would give us enough money to reinvest in a new centre-half for now. And I've got a few targets on the shortlist, so I think it would be perfect to... no, that's way too low. To replace him with. But if we go 28 mil, he's 27 in the prime of his career. So, yep, 79 overall. That, to me, is a good deal. I would take that. Yes, he's a good centre-half, but that's a lot of money to be raised for one player that can really help us rebuild. So as we negotiate a split there for Gui Guedes to go to Rayo Vallecano, recently relegated Said is on his way to the Eredivisie. I'm really excited about that. Please, AZ Alkmaar, please throw this kid in at the deep end. 16 years old, starting in the Dutch top tier. I would love to see that. He has been given a first team squad number in number 2 as well, and hopefully he'll start either left back or right back there. He needs the game time, and hopefully he'll be given it there as well. So still waiting for that Montes deal to go through. Should happen any moment now though. Big coming from Melamed. Espanyol want to buy him back, but the answer is no. He's staying with us. And there we go, Cesar Montes is on his way to Stade Rennais, one of the most expensive sales in Almeria history. Not the most expensive, one of the top 5, as the Mexican international has a one and done here at the Power Stadium and is now off to Liga. And again, happy with the deal though, because it's a lot of money to be raised for a player who we've got young targets in mind to replace him with, both out on loan right now in the case of Kaiki and also on the shortlist too. And as we see, Guedes and Gomez leave on their loan deals to Second Division sides. We're going to jump into the first game of today's episode and the first game of the season as Pablo Maffio welcomes his former teammates Mallorca to Andalusia. This season, the board have asked us to qualify for a European competition that includes Conference League, and to be honest, whilst top 10 is my aim, that's my ambitious aim, top 7. If we're going to do that, we need to win our home games. Starting with this one, Vamos Almeria. Easy, easy, easy. Oh, what a block, Edgar. Yep, I don't mind Montes going, because to me he was the weakest of the centre-halves we used last season. After Muhaid came in, I kind of split the game time between he and Edgar. I didn't notice too much of a notable decrease in quality when Muhaid started like he does today. And with Maffio joining the back line as well. Looking for his first goal for his new side, couldn't get it on target. I still feel confident, just like last season, we'll be one of the best defensive teams outside of the Big Four. Like, to me, Maximiano was all right last season. He was joint best in terms of clean sheets, but I mentioned it briefly. Like to me, I always say that when it comes down to clean sheets, like you have to look at the data a little bit more in more detail. You know, it's like if Petr Cech talked about this on a podcast actually last week. Like if the keepers had to make like 8 or 9 saves in a game, then obviously that clean sheet is hard earned. But if he's not really had to make any saves, it's just been a good defensive shutout. The defence deserve as much of the credit, if not more, than the goalkeeper, because the goalkeeper's barely been tested, and that was the case with Maximiano last season. A lot of his clean sheets came, not because he was pulling off worldy saves, but because the back four was safe as houses and barely allowed a shot on goal. But Almeria take the lead, and it is the man we get a new contract to. Ramazani playing the 1-2 with Delafeu, and the hosts have the early lead. Batarina through the gap, and Larine has his shot blocked by Mohaid, and then the second one goes in. That's pretty poor goalkeeping, to be fair, from Julian. Debut for the club, and he's dropped a clanger there. How's he let that go in the near post? Yes, Pablo, win him, mate, win him. Can we get one late chance here to win this? I see him, and I see Delafeu, and Gerard. Delafeu for the win! Oh, as good as ever! Almeria fan favourite in 6 months, picks up where he left off. Gerard Delafeu with the winner. Streets won't forget and Streets can't forget. Gerard Delafeu picking up where he left off last season, banging in the game winner and sparing Almeria's blushes at the death. We're going to qualify for a European competition. We've got to win our home games, and I think we also need to make sure we wrap Delafeu up in cotton wool as well. This guy cannot get injured this season. Our hopes depend on this senior. But that'll do it for today's episode and the season opener of the La Liga Crema, guys. So big thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have, then please do drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day. I'll return in the next episode with the remainder of the transfer window. 32 mil in the budget as we look to reinvest that money on the back of the sale of Montes and try and bring in the players we'll need to get us into the top 7. Have a great day. Much love, and I'll see you for the next episode very soon.